Hello and welcome back to another episode of Making It. My name is Mirabelle, I'm your host, and on today's episode, the last episode of Season 1, we're joined by singer-songwriter and Twitch streamer Shani Rose. Shani and I met through Twitch, and if you've been an avid listener, you've probably heard me say that like 10,000 times by now, I'm so sorry. But we met, I believe, through Kat McDowell, who was on our very first episode of Making It. Kat hosted these songwriter sessions, which was like a songwriting challenge on Twitch. And at the end of the season for that, she invited back all of the guests she had on for those streams. And one of those guests was Shani. So then I did a similar but different songwriting challenge with Shani on her own channel back in October of 2021. And so we co-wrote a song together, which was super awesome. It was really fun. It was also very scary again, but it was a cool experience. Shani is a super talented, award-winning singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist based in LA. She's worked with a bunch of music supervisors from television companies like NBC and Fox. She also has 2 duo projects that we mention, JOAN and Roseport, alongside her own solo project, Shani Rose. We get into what it means to write music for sync, what sync is, and no, not like a kitchen sink, but like sync for like synchronization, basically putting music to film and TV. She talks about songwriting camps, what that entails, and we also touch on performance anxiety. Shani talks about her background in music, her experience with doing street performances, kind of how that led to Twitch streaming. And she also talks about doing improv, like acting improv, and how that relates to songwriting, or to co-writing more specifically. And we also get into how she juggles her career of being a singer-songwriter, musician, while being a mother. And it's all very intense, but she somehow makes it all work, and it's amazing. This chat brought up a lot of insight into what it's like to do songwriting as like your main career, so it's been pretty eye-opening. I learned a lot, as always, as with every guest I have on, and I hope that you learned something as well. Again, this is the last episode of Season 1, which is insane. It's pretty crazy. That's 10 episodes weekly. I'm very surprised that I managed to stay consistent with this. So thank you so much for listening. Season 2 is in the works, and in the meantime, so there might be a little bit of a break for episodes, but in the meantime, I think I'll be doing a solo Q&A episode, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Ears peeled? That sounds kind of weird. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast so far, and as always, if you want to get involved, you can join my Patreon to know who's coming on to the podcast, and you can ask your questions for the guests. I would love it if you left a review, a rating, or a comment on the YouTube channel, or like message me, send me a tweet, I don't know, comment on my Instagram. Let me know what you think so far of this episode and or of the whole podcast. So I think that's it from me. I will talk to you soon. Enjoy the episode with Shani Rose. Let me first say hello, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I was just talking to Matt a couple days ago last week, and because he was on this podcast too. And Matt Walden, also
awesome.
Twitch streamer, person, musician. And when we had our call, it was like, we were both like, oh, I feel like I know you already. Like, we've been friends for a while, but like, I know nothing about him really. Yeah.
It's nice. It's like a musician kindred spirit kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
So kind of like you and I like also, we collabed. We wrote a song together. It's fun. Got to get that recorded.
You do. I love that one. I often get it stuck in my head, and I'm like, oh man, that chorus is so good. And like, I just keep remembering how you're like, layers, or like this line wouldn't work, or I can't. No, it was something in the verse or the pre-chorus. Yeah. You're like, this would never work. And then I was like, wait, but it will. Hold on. what if we did this? And then it was like the basis of our song. And
yeah.
I love those happy mistakes, or I don't call them mistakes, happy accidents.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
I like that.
It's kind of weird to figure out what that song was about, really.
Like the process, or like now telling people what it's about?
The process during it, when we were making it and being given that title of Layers.
Yeah. I think, especially if you're writing on a live stream and you're like, oh, we have this limited amount of time. Like, I don't know. There's something about just kind of going in and diving in, and you're like, we're going to figure it out later, and it'll be what it'll be, and here it is. Yeah. And then it's really cool to see, and this happens to me a lot, but it's cool to see how, like, sometimes you don't have a plan, and then, like, subconsciously the plan unravels and kind of, like, presents itself to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say the whole time, and here it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And do you want to talk about what, like, some people probably don't know that we did the songwriter session thing. Yeah. What is the songwriter sessions? Yeah,
absolutely. So I started this on my Twitch channel in October, and you, Mirabelle, were the very first person to be on the songwriter sesh. Yeah. And it was a blast. And basically, like, I'm doing it monthly now. It's you know, I've had awesome people on. Human Juke was on. Calvin Thomas was on. We had Taryn on last month, and this month we're having Michael Barnum.
Oh yay!
And I'm just excited. Like, the coolest thing is that, like, I get to, I don't know, get to know other Twitch streamers better, and, like, in a setting that's like our comfort zone, but also it's a nice, I want to say, like, there's vulnerability in going into a session with somebody and you're like, here, let's write about something, like, that has emotion, and you're like, hi, nice to meet you. So part of that's, like, kind of, like, could be nerve-wracking, but I love, it gives you an opportunity to really, like, genuinely, like, get to know somebody in a different way, which is nice, I think. And I really like that. And yeah, so I started it in October, and it's just been so much fun. And you know, everyone who tunes in always loves listening and seeing the process behind the co-write. Basically, what it is like, we, you know, come on the stream and chat a little bit, and we do a little writers round, which is like we kind of alternate, go back and forth a couple songs, sharing original songs, both for the viewers to, like, enjoy the original music, but also it gets us sort of in tune with each other and synced up, and, like, oh, that's really cool that, like, that is a style that you are awesome at, or, like, I love how your melodies are in this song, or whatever. So it gets us sort of creatively like, warmed up, I guess, in a way. And I hadn't thought about that before I did that, but I'm like, oh yeah, this is why this makes sense to do this. So yeah, and then we write a song based on, like, suggestions from the chat and our own inspirations, and we kind of land on something. So that's how Layers came about.
Yeah. And there's no, like, time limit as, like, on Cat's stream, right?
So what I sort of, the aspiration is an hour. I've yet to write a song in an hour. And that's okay, because some songs take, like, 7 years. Like, didn't Hallelujah take, like, I don't know, 15 years for Leonard Cohen to write, or something like that. Yeah. So I start with an hour, and then what we've been doing recently, which is kind of fun. We won't make it in an hour, so then we cut it to half an hour, and then we have an extra half an hour, and then we don't make the half an hour, so we cut it to 15 minutes, and then we cut it to 7.5 minutes, and, like, 4-ish, 3.5, 4. And so like we cut it all the times in half. So it's like, it's kind of fun in that way. We're like, oh, but we still have like 3 minutes left. So we've been
Every second counts.
Exactly. So we've been doing that. So that's been
awesome.
fun.
Yeah. I mentioned our songwriting session on the episode with Marie because we were talking about introversion, extroversion, and and I mentioned the songwriter session, how I was like, I realized that I don't know, like it's an experience, but it's probably not something that I would voluntarily do all that often.
Interesting. So you write most of your stuff by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the first time I ever co-wrote was with Kat on her songwriter sessions on stream.
What a crazy, nerve-wracking thing to do as your first co-writing session.
Right. Why did I say yes to that?
But that got your feet wet real quick. That
Just throw me into the deep end.
you definitely jumped into the deep end on that one, because it's like, no, not only are you going to write with somebody, but you're going to write with somebody live on a stream in front of a bunch of people, and you're going to do that in 22 minutes.
Yeah. Exactly.
But there you go. But don't you feel, I feel like, wasn't that like good training in a way? I don't know.
Yeah, in a way it was nice to get out of my comfort zone. Yeah. And also same with when we did ours, like it's nice to get out of my comfort zone and try this other thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think that but just, to be more comfortable, I just would prefer writing on my own.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting. I started writing on my own, like from the beginning of like when I started being a songwriter, I guess. And then I discovered this thing called the co-writing, and I'm like, I like to be around people. And I feel like co-writing and sort of putting two brains together, or three, or however many, makes the song better for my experience. Like it pushes me to like pushes the group of co-writers to try to make whatever it is the best it can be, and like to challenge each other to be like, oh, is that the best we can do, or is this can we top that, And so I love that process of like, how is this the strongest it can be, or can it be better? And I think that that is fun for me, and it's also just, I like being around, I guess it's an introverted extroverted thing maybe too, but like the process of me going into a session with other people, and I get to like talk to them, and we get to like create a story together and everything, that feels fulfilling and like fun to me, more so than like me sitting down and being like, okay, I'm gonna write a song now and I'm by myself, and but it's so fascinating that's that I'm sure it has to do with personality and just like style and a bunch of things. So
that's interesting.
I think that's really cool. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't want, I think maybe it's too much of like a self-conscious sort of thing where I'm like, maybe they won't like what I have to say, or like maybe they won't like this idea, and
Totally. I've also felt that too so many times. Like so many times.
Yeah.
I think that's natural, and I think that for me, like when I first started co-writing, I definitely felt that a lot, and I was like, oh, they're gonna think this idea is stupid, and like I should just not say anything. But it also taught me, like co-writing with other people has taught me that like it's actually really liberating to be in that situation, because it forces me to like let go of the ego that's involved in our creativity and our songwriting process, and be like, okay, I'm going to say this idea, but it's like if I take the ego away, then I'm not going to worry if they like it or not, because it's not about me, it's about the song, right? So it's like this idea can be neutral and like it doesn't need a Shani's like opinion on whether or not she thinks secretly it's good or not, you know, because maybe somebody else in the room will like it, or maybe it won't be a good idea, but it'll inspire or make somebody else in the room think of something that turns out to be like the hook in the chorus, you know? So like and that took a long time for me to get to. I definitely had times where I'm like, oh, this isn't good enough, or, oh, I really think this is good, and no one in the room thinks it's good either, and I feel really bad about that, because like I feel like I didn't contribute anything, you know. So and that's like the process, I think, with co-writing, and I'm happy that it's a journey going through that and kind of getting to the place where you're like, yeah, but it's about the song, it's not about me, you know. And that's for somebody who like is focusing on like, I'm gonna be a songwriter and, you know, write material for a variety of avenues and places. If you're doing something for your artist project, I think that's different too. I think it has to align with you and your just like who you are, and there's I think there's a different approach to that depending on what it is. But yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, because my writing has always just pretty much just been for me. Like I'm just creating for me and then sharing it, and apparently people resonate with it. So
yeah, absolutely they do. Definitely they do.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I think your writing is, well, co-writing with you is really awesome. Like I don't know what your process is by yourself, but I think that like just the way you think about, you know, melodies and lyrics and concepts, it's very supportive, and like you're a good co-writer.
Great.
Newsflash, Mirabelle.
Whoa.
There you go. I said it. Yeah. No. You. But I think that like it's a really nice. It's like refreshing to have, you know, those ideas that are from a different perspective, and
yeah, that was really cool. So what is your songwriting process then? I guess when you're writing by yourself.
By myself. Oh my God. So let's see. I don't write by myself that often anymore. So it is like a little, but I have been writing. Well, so I have these assignments that I've started to do with this like monthly class, I guess I would call it. It's like a class where you like write songs with a pop perspective, and it's like with this publisher that sort of teaches a curriculum and helps guide us to like focusing on writing for artists and pop music for artists. So yeah, so this first month I've been like, okay, I'm gonna write something on my own, and here we go. So it's been, I think my process writing by myself now is that I am much more critical. Like I'm much more self-critical because there's no one in the room to be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Or like, how about this? Taking your idea and like, let's build to that. You know, for me, I'm like, is this good what I just did? I don't know what it is. And I hope it's good. So I have to kind of use my like gut feeling sometimes of like, okay, this feels good, or this, you know, there's something here, and like not worry maybe too much about editing myself or trying to find the perfect thing, because then it'll drive me crazy. So that's what I've been doing. I mean, process wise, it can be a variety of things. It can be emotionally instigated, you know, like if something like happens in my life where I'm like, I'm so angry about this, or like frustrated or whatever, or happy about this, I need to like write something down. And sometimes I'll write a little one-liner like lyrical thing, or like a title, that's what it's called, a title, where I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool, I'll put this in my little note thing in my phone, and I'll look at it later. Sometimes it's a melody that I'll just hum. Sometimes it's chords, but not as often, I would say. And then if I'm sitting down by myself, I'll kind of skim through that and see what's like inspiring me. Sometimes if it's like emotionally driven right then and there, then it's easy to kind of sit down and focus on that. But I haven't felt that in a while, or like been in that situation in a while, because I usually co-write, and also because I haven't had a lot of time to write because motherhood is time consuming. So, and yeah, but that's one of my goals this year. I was like, I have to start writing more and co-writing more, because that's my career passion, and like the thing that I love to do the most. And unfortunately, it's not like paid up front all the time, or most of the time. So that's the dilemma of like, okay, I do all these other things in music that, you know, I can pay the bills with, but the thing that I love the most, I maybe can pay the bills with, but I have to like invest the time in it first, and then see if it pays the bills. But I think that's how I roll usually. Like it's all about like what is inspiring me, and then kind of going down that route. And I'll put like my voice recorder on my phone, or on Logic or something, and I just kind of play around with it and follow that path down until I like something, and kind of go from there. And sometimes it's like, I'm like, I feel like this is a guitar song. It feels like it has to be a guitar song. And sometimes I'm like, no, this is a piano song. And sometimes I start on one instrument and I'm like, I thought it was a guitar song, but no, it's a piano song now. Like that happened the other day.
Oh, really?
So as I was trying to write this song assignment that's due this week.
Oh, man.
So,
yeah. You almost done that assignment?
No. Stop. Don't remind me. I think the more I like worry about it, the more I'm like, oh my God, it's not done. It's not going to be perfect. I'm going to suck at this. So I think I just have to be like, here's what I have, and this is it. And it's not going to be perfect. And that's what I'm going to do tonight.
Good luck.
Once the baby goes to bed.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. No, I think it's like if I get in the zone and I'm feeling creative, then like I'll get there. But it's been hard to find the time this year to like have enough time to just be in the zone and be creative. That's the struggle. I'm always getting interrupted, or there's always something else I need to take care of and stuff. But it's not an excuse. I'm changing. I'm making a change. I'm changing it up.
Good.
That's why I started taking this class. I was like, this is going to force me. Like, I have to do it now because I signed up for this. So, yeah.
Yeah. And there are other people keeping you accountable for it.
Yeah,
makes it
exactly.
Easier.
Accountability. Yeah. That's important.
Yeah. I've never really, I don't have any songs, maybe like one that I've never put out or recorded or anything, but
really?
Nothing is on piano. I always write with guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I don't really have that where I'm like, oh, this sounds like a piano song or, a guitar song. It's kind of just guitar, acoustic, and then I can build around that and start adding instruments to it. But that's always the base for me.
Okay. Do you usually start with like the production ideas and kind of build stuff and then add the melody and lyrics, or is it?
No, I kind of do like melody. I'm humming, I'm singing while I'm playing guitar.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I'm fiddling around until I find something I like, or until words actually start to form, and then yeah. Sometimes
I do that too. Sometimes I like make a melody and then I sing nonsense stuff, and then there's like a word that happens. And then I'm like, all right, let's follow this.
Yeah.
But that sometimes leads me into like, I really like how this word sounds, but it's not going to work in a good concept. It's just a word. And then I'm like, what do I do with it now? So like that's happened to me a bunch before too. Yeah.
Isn't there like a genre of that kind of music where you're singing like these vocals they're not like actual words, but they're kind of words.
Is that a genre, really?
Or like
stream of consciousness, or like
like the lyrics just aren't real words, but it's
Okay. Good question. I haven't heard that, but I know what you mean. They're like those songs that have like blah 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 blah, and and then you hear it on an ad or something.
Kind of. So, yeah, I guess that's one.
Like na na na, like na na nas and ho hey, like things
really
like that.
Like longer oohs and ahs, except they kind of sound like words in a way.
Okay. I have not heard about that genre, but
I mean, I can't tell you what it is.
Who knows? Tell us out there, whoever is listening, is gonna be listening. Tell us about this genre. We wanna hear. We want to learn about this. I'm interested. I'm gonna make us a playlist.
Yeah. How did you get started with songwriting?
So my first song I ever wrote was in high school. My senior year, there was like a senior. So I was in the jazz band in high school, and I was like into piano, and I was like, I'm a pianist, and that's what I do, and like I do instruments, and then the seniors had an opportunity to like do a senior showcase in our last like music, like how in high school you have like big music performances, like at the end of the year, and the Christmas, like the holiday one and springtime. So the end of the year one, they were like, okay, you have you can do something musical, whatever you want to do. Like, it's not, you don't have to do the thing that you've, like I don't have to do a jazz piano song or whatever. So I don't remember the like moment that I decided I'm gonna write a song, but somehow I decided that I was gonna write a song and perform it.
Nice.
So I don't know where that came from. I can't remember really, but I was like, yeah, this seems like it would be fun, and so I did, and it was the most terrifying thing waiting backstage for my turn. And being like, I've never sung in front of people but myself with a piano. What am I doing? But I did it, and I forgot the first line of my song, of course.
Classic.
But you know what I did? I just did the intro twice.
Smart.
So, secret revealed, guys.
Look at you.
I just kept playing the piano until I remembered them.
That's smart. Nobody would know anyway.
Nobody knew, but I did. And I was like, of course this would happen. But I'm trying to remember what the song was called. Can't remember. But afterwards, people were like, I didn't know you could sing, and like that was such a good song. And I was like, what? Really? So that was inspiring. And then I started writing in my room just on my own. And then when I went to college, I started as a jazz piano major at USC, and then switched out of that after I took a songwriting class my second semester, and I was like, this is amazing. This is the best thing that's ever happened in my life. What? I'm gonna be a songwriter now. What have I been doing? So I switched into a regular music major, and then the rest was history. And I was just like, I'm just gonna keep taking songwriting classes, and just this is what I'm doing, And I've done like composition stuff too, composing and whatnot. But like, I think the path has always led me back to songwriting.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I keep it keeps showing up and sending me signs. So or it keeps showing up and making me happy. So I'm like, well, gotta chase what makes me happy.
Yeah,
there's that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that your jazz background, piano, jazz background, like influences your songwriting?
It definitely does. I would say now it doesn't like come out genre-wise all the time in my song style. But I guess the theory knowledge that I've sort of acquired over the years, and like just kind of the understanding of the relationship between the harmony and the melodies, and like the just like the dynamics of a song, and building a song and all that, I think has definitely come out in my songwriting. Like it comes so naturally that it's something that I'm grateful that I have sort of as part of my musical identity, and then I just kind of draw from it whenever I need to, or in whatever capacity I need to when I write a song.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's really great. So kids, keep practicing piano. Don't quit, okay? Even though practicing is annoying sometimes and hard, and you're like, why do I have to play the scale 10 times? Just don't quit. Just don't quit, because then later you'll be like, oh, that's why I needed to play this 10 times. Yeah. And
yeah, for real.
I would say, though, once in a while I do have jazz songs, well, jazz type songs or funky songs or bluesy songs that I will write, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get to throw my like knowledge of this in the ring and come up with something cool, and this is super fun, and I'm in my element and everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I feel like having a foundation, whether that's like in classical music or jazz, really, it like adds to whatever other musical thing you're doing, and they all influence each other a lot, which is
you have a jazz a classical background, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flute?
So I went, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you study? Remind me.
I did my undergrad at the University of Calgary, and then I did my master's at the University of Toronto.
Okay. Were they both in flute?
Classical flute. Performance. Yeah.
You're a pro flautist.
Yeah. No, I don't even know what it's called. Like a flautist, a fluter.
A fluter. I like fluter.
I will answer to flute pretty much, because like
flute.
Ensembles, yeah, like in ensemble rehearsals, and they're like, flutes, play quieter, and so like you respond to that now.
Nice. Do you still play like in a classical setting?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, not like so much recently because COVID and stuff, but yeah, for sure. Because of COVID, though, I talked about this a lot on my streams recently, where because I'm just so excited about music right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Like I talked about how before flute because it's always been an academic thing. So I couldn't get it out of that box. I could never like improvise with it. I could never compose with flute or anything. It's always been in the classical world. And so, but since COVID and like being at home and not being able to play with anybody in like a chamber group or whatever, ensemble, orchestra, whatever, I started like recording myself and then playing with myself. And so that's awesome. It's really fun. It took me out of that box. Yeah.
That's really great. Yeah. I think you get so used to doing one thing. It's like, this is the category, this is where it fits, and it's hard to change that.
Yeah.
And then you need like a worldwide global pandemic to like just kick you off the track.
Apparently.
Of what you thought was what you're doing in your life.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh man. I've
always like played guitar and sung on the side, and it's always been like a hobby. So yeah. The flute and the singing has been so separated. But now I'm putting them all together. It's great.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Were you doing, before COVID, were you like, was that your main like job, like profession? Were you like flautist in an orchestra kind of thing? Or like...
Well,
What were you
I
doing?
finished my master's like just last June. So
Just
COVID
before.
started. I had 1 year of school left, and that was all done online.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like, but I was supposed to do this, and I guess I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah. Music school and online. Music and online just do not mix very well.
That's so hard. That's so hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've have found a way. I teach private lessons to kids and adults, and I've found a way to make it work pretty well online. And it's actually been really helpful now to be able to do it from home because, baby corn. We call him baby corn on the
I love that
stream.
He's so cute.
Yeah, he's cute. He's so cute. Yeah, it's I'm kind of used to it now, but like I can imagine how hard it is. Or I mean, I have a friend who is a music teacher, a middle school and high school music teacher, and she was saying how incredibly hard it was to figure out what do I do with like a group of kids that are in like a choir class? Like, how does this work online? Like private lessons can work. A group, it's like, what? Like, how do you do this?
For my like wind ensemble rehearsals last year, just we couldn't play together. So props to all the profs and the conductors for trying to figure something out. Yeah. But basically what we did was just for some of it, they played the recording of a piece that we were all learning, and then we would mute ourselves and we would play along to the music and then talk about it after and like kind of talk about the challenges, what we should focus on and whatever. Okay. And we did a couple of like recordings where we all submitted our parts and then TA tried to put it together.
I think that's what my friend said she did too. She had like them record their vocals but it's hard. It's so challenging. Like it's like
and
that's
not the same at all.
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was before COVID. I was doing improv comedy for fun, just like as a hobby, because it's so great and so much fun.
That is so random. I love that.
Well, it's like it's another art form. It's another performance sort of creative outlet, I think. And the way I came about that, well, so like my husband and I have this thing every year, even though we haven't done it in like the last year or two, but like every year for our wedding anniversary, we choose something new to learn together, just to like grow and like just so it's like a fun thing. It's like a little challenge. So we chose a couple of years back, like 4 years ago now or something, we chose improv because we had this theater near our place and it was really fun to go watch it. And we're like, we should go take classes. They have classes. And we took like the level 1 class and then like never looked back. And it was so fun. And we just kept taking class. We graduated through the program. Like I was performing on a team in the theater. I was not a pro at all. Oh my God. But it was so fun to just let go and just be whatever. Like just it has a lot of parallels to songwriting, which is really cool. It's because one of the teachers was explaining where it's like, one person presents this thing in the scene, this is their character. They say a statement and then the next person builds on that. And then they go back and forth building this, scene and this story and these characters out of nothing at all. And then at the end of the scene, and then like 5 minutes later, you created something and you have a story and you have a scene and like anything your partner presents, you take that and you build on it and then you add to it. And I'm like, that's kind of like what co-writing is. Oh my God. And then you have a song at the end. Whoa. So why did I start talking about improv though? Oh my gosh. Oh, right. So when COVID happened, they took like the classes online and performances online and stuff. And it was like props to the teachers and the coaches, because it was like, how do you do this without like all the physicality on stage and like,
Yeah.
you know, you do like scene work, not scene work. Oh my God, it slipped my mind. But like when you're like pretending there's a, you know, like a coffee mug in your hand and you're drinking, like all of that stuff, and you hand something to your partner and you like, you give them a hug. Like it's all about like the emotional sort of connection between the characters. And then you can't really do that in a screen. So it was really hard to do that. Anyway, that was a real big tangent.
That was interesting. And that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I have a little bit of improv that I throw into my Twitch streams too, actually. Yeah. We have like little bit bar challenges, and we have a wheel that we spin. We have a shenanigans stream. So
oh my goodness.
There's one challenge where I have to be a character for 5 minutes and then sing a song as the character.
I can imagine that.
It keeps it fun and like spontaneous. So
that's cool.
Anyway, that was a real tangent. But,
no, it's cool. I don't think I would be able to do that.
I think that's an introvert extrovert thing again.
Probably.
For sure.
I cannot, like, in a million years. I mean, I don't know, who knows? But that just sounds terrifying to me. But
some people
cool.
think performing and singing is terrifying too. So there you go.
True. Yeah, I don't really know what it is about performance that I am okay with. Like, that's a
great question. Yeah.
I still get anxious whenever I perform, like whether that's flute or like singing, performing. I mean, but like on Twitch, that's fine. It's very chill on Twitch. It's not really like a performance really to me.
I was going to ask, like, what makes it easier or like, what? Yeah. So is it okay? Like, do you tell yourself like, it's okay to go through this anxiety because I enjoy the process of performing? Is that kind of how do you like justify feeling like that?
That's a good question. Have I just been like suffering for no reason?
Well, no, because what you do is wonderful and important for everyone to hear. But
yeah,
it's a good question to ask. I mean, because I've been nervous before many, many times, and it's like, what is the reason for this? Like, what justifies that? I don't know. It's just an interesting question.
Yeah. I mean, because I've always just, you hear people talk about like how to deal with performance anxiety.
Yeah.
But never actually asking why you get anxious. I mean, being on a stage and having people look at you and like, they're probably judging you in a way. I mean,
or they're just awed by your amazingness.
But yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I love music. I love making music. And I guess that's worth more than the anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That's a good reason.
Also, like, anxiety and excitement are the same, like, chemical reactions, right? So it's just kind of the context that your mind, like, that your mindset is set on is what makes it either scary or fun. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I like that. I think that like after the anxiety, you know, after a performance, you're on a high, like you have that like adrenaline rush. So it's like that's part of it, I'm sure. You know, the anxiety part and then like your nerves are tingling and you're like, oh my God, we're gonna do this. And then after you're done, you're like, that was amazing. It was so much fun. So I definitely know what you mean about like that perspective of like it can be the same thing. Like it's excitement. Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely agree. On Twitch I'm not nervous. And I think I street performed for like 10 years before COVID. And I would say like sometimes I would be nervous starting the show sometimes. Like I set up, everyone's like watching me set up. Like there's all these like hundreds of people at Universal City Walk being like, who's this girl setting up her piano? Like, who is this person? And then being like, okay, here I'm ready to go. And I guess I'll start a song now. And then like everyone turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, okay. But once like I dive in, then, you know, for the next however many hours, it was fine. But it definitely was a process. I think I would always get more nervous. I mean, back in the early days of performing and street performing, I would be more nervous. But
yeah.
I don't even remember how to play a live gig anymore, to be honest. Oh no, okay. I've been to like, so conferences. That's the one place that I would say I still get a little nervous. Like, I go to these songwriting conferences, and there's showcases sometimes, and I know that like everyone who's listening is a musician or like an industry person, like somebody important or somebody that knows what I'm doing. They're all out in the audience. So I'm like, this is nerve-wracking because you, of all the people, like you're the people that would, I don't know that I'm not doing something good, you know? So those are the situations where I'd be nervous, I would say. More so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do like songwriting camps and such?
Yes, I do. I would love to do more. Lots and lots more. I've done some sync camps, so like like sync licensing camps this past year and a half, 2 years or so. And they're always really fun.
Yeah.
They've all been online so far, but I would love to do more and in person at some point. Do you do them, or are you interested in doing them?
I'm interested, but I didn't know that was a thing until like, I don't know, like the last year or so.
Cool.
So yeah.
How did you like find out about it?
I went to the Vancouver International Film Festival for their sort of conference thing.
Okay.
It's called like
Cool.
AMP Accelerator Program, and you just had a bunch of industry people, music supervisors and film composers.
I remember mentioning this to me
Yeah,
or something.
maybe.
This sounds really familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, because we did our songwriter session after I came back from that. We were like organizing a time for that.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
that's
it was
awesome.
like,
So there you learned about it there.
yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit though.
Yeah, well you should. If you're interested.
How do you even like hear about these things though?
Some of them are like super secret and you have to be invited, which I've never been invited to them, and I'm like always like, hey, if something's happening, I'd love to be a part of it. So I'm waiting to be invited to those ones. Those are like with publishers and like labels and stuff. But but then there's like sync camps, licensing camps that I know the people who put them together, and they're wonderful. And yeah, I mean I can like give you the info, girl. I can let you know.
Sure.
It's really like if that's something that you want to sort of pursue and like add to your sort of your journey in music and everything, and you want to like kind of delve into that world, it's a fun world. I really enjoy
what kind of like
stuff.
what kind of goes on at a sync thing
camp?
Yeah.
Let's see, the ones that I've been at, they basically every day you have you get paired up with, so it depends what you do, like so they pair up a producer, a writer, like a songwriter, and then an artist. Like, so the artist is also writing, but they're going to be like singing and cutting the vocals basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you get paired up with a music supervisor, and they basically, they have some briefs of things that they're looking for their projects. It could be a supervisor for a TV show or a a network, trailer house, an ad agency, all sorts of places where they need music to be aligned with, like picture, basically. Mm-hmm. So, and then you have the day to choose a brief and write to it and, you know, kind of try to direct your, like, what you do to what they want, you know, like what they're looking for. And then you do it again for a couple more days, and then we have a listening party like a week or two after that. So you have an opportunity to basically work on the song and cut the vocals and the production and all that. So it's a lot of work, but it's really, really fun. And I'm actually releasing a song this month on the 18th. Oh my God, that's in like a week and a half. Hi guys, I have a song that's coming out. I haven't even like told anyone. What? How is it like?
I know.
A week into February. I don't even know. Anyway, I have a song coming out.
It'll be out by the time this comes up. It'll be like
so
a month until this comes out.
Got it. So you guys should go listen to my song Change.
There you go.
I wrote it in one of the camps, and I'm releasing it under my Shani Rose project, which has not seen many releases in the last couple years. It's like the first release I'm gonna have in like 5 years, which is crazy. But also like
you have a lot of projects going on. Yeah,
I have a lot of projects, and that's kind of where my like journey took me. I kind of got burned out from the artist thing and kind of delved into a duo and sort of more pitching for, you know, TV and film stuff. But it was a song that I'm like, I feel like this one needs to be released on Shani Rose project. And it's kind of about like saying goodbye to your life as you knew it, and then like kind of welcoming it in and celebrating what has changed. So it's like bittersweet in that you're like kind of like grieving what you said goodbye to, but also like celebrating what you have. And I think that for me, that specifically falls into the vein of like motherhood and just kind of your life totally changes, but it's a wonderful, amazing thing. But it's also like really hard and really like, you don't know. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing most days of my life, but it's absolutely, it's amazing. And it's also, it's like, oh, there's so many things that have changed. And then there's also a pandemic. So it's like, and like, I think a lot of people's lives have changed dramatically in the last 2 years in any particular capacity, and like various different capacities. But like for me, that's kind of where that came from. And I was like, okay, this feels like really close. Like this is a personal song, like of my story, you know? So I was like, okay, it fits to be released on Shani Rose. So cool. So it's out, guys. Go listen to Change.
Yay. I can't wait.
Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna have a party, you know, a listening party on Twitch.
Yes.
And all that jazz.
Yay. Yeah. So. I was gonna ask, like, how has your life changed since having a baby?
So much.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things. Like, I think some of the main things are like, all of a sudden, you're not just like responsible for yourself. Like, you have this other human being that it's up to you to keep alive. But that's in like the general sense. Yeah, no pressure. Like, keep alive, yes. But like, and obviously once you like know how to feed them and give them like the basic needs, you're going to keep them alive and it's going to be fine. But like, I think the next layer to that is also, it's like this person is looking up to you and only you. And, you know, obviously like my husband too. And so his dad, but like as a mom, it's like, I basically have to teach this human being how to be a good person in this world, and it's up to me. And like, he will look to me for like comfort and support, and like telling him it's okay, and whatever it is, like the obstacles in his life is like, he's gonna come to me to like to help them figure that out. And I'm like, I haven't even figured it out for myself. So I'm like, how am I going to do this for this kid? But I think that like, so that's a big thing that changes. But I think that's also a thing that like mothers just kind of put pressure on themselves to generally, know how to do it all. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is like you're learning as you go. Like nobody knows how to do this before you have a kid. Like you don't know, and every kid's different and all that. So it's okay. Like it's like this is the pressure you could put on yourself, but in reality, it's the most wild ride, and it's like every day you're an artist. You're an artist, and you're a scientist, and you're an artist. You're a chef. You're a teacher. Like you're everything every day. So many
hats.
Right. Like because you have to be creative in like trying different things. Like baby's crying. The thing that worked last week isn't working this week. You have to invent the next thing that might work and try it out. Like you have to experiment all the time of like, like trying to figure out, especially when they can't talk yet, so
yeah.
So you wear so many hats. Yeah, definitely. Like your time changes too. It's like the amount of like I really had to pare down my priorities of like what can I give my time to because I have so little of it. So what are the most important things to me, to do, and I have to just like cut out all the rest of it. And that's, I think, a good, like, it's kind of a blessing too, because you're like, oh, why was I wasting time on this thing? Like, so there's good parts to that, but there's also like frustrating parts where I'm like, I can't just, be like, yeah, I'll go hang out with you at like 1:30 p.m. on a Monday.
Yeah.
Friend. Or like, yeah, I'll jump into a session right now because you need somebody. It's like, no, I gotta get somebody to watch him. And like, maybe we can plan it during his nap or like after he goes to bed. Like, right? We had struggles to like schedule this because I'm like, I think this won't work. Let's try it. No. Oh, I don't know when he's going to go to bed. Okay. So, but I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
It worked. It worked out in the end.
It worked out. I know. Yes. So that's how it's changed. I mean, I can keep talking forever about that, but I think also like things that used to be really, really important or like such a big deal are now like, okay, not such a big deal anymore. Or like things that you never thought would be a big deal are now really a big deal. So it's adjusting to all of that. It's a big adjustment, but it's just like, I don't know, like having this human discover the world and like you being there to like help him grow is the most amazing thing too. So yeah, that's pretty.
Shout out to all the moms.
Shout out to all the moms.
Yeah.
I totally give you all. You're doing great. Shout out to the moms. You're doing amazing. You're incredible. I think I just heard my baby cry. Oh. Speaking of.
So all of your other projects, like what you have JOAN and you have Roseport?
Roseport. Yes, I do.
What are these not necessarily duo projects, but what are all these other projects?
What are these projects? It's a great question. So they're duos. They're with the same partner, Chelsea, and we met at.
I did not realize that.
Yeah. Oops. And so the thing about that is we met at this like sync licensing workshop, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, and 6 years ago. It's been a while. Life goes by quickly. So we instantly kind of connected and wrote a song together and started Roseport, and kind of had the same idea of like, okay, let's start a project with the intention of sort of having a business hat on and writing with sync in mind. And there's a different kind of approach to writing in that sense versus like sort of with an artist or for yourself as an artist. Well, and there's a fine line between those two. So it's like, you know, there's like a specificity that some artist songs have that tell a story that if you put it in the context of a song that would be licensed to be used for film and TV or ads, the story would have a universal theme that everyone can relate to, same as like an artist song, but it'd be universally specific. So like as an example, like if you were like, my love, you know, Daniel, the one I love with blue eyes and blonde hair, like that's really specific, and that wouldn't necessarily like fit in a lot of contexts with picture, you know? So it's just a way of approaching like how you kind of lay out the lyrics and like how you lay out the story. So anyway, I don't know why I went into that. I could nerd out about that forever. No,
it's interesting to hear like what kind of music supervisors look for, I guess, for these things.
For sure. Yeah. And it's like a process. You learn it along the way. And even stuff that, you know, like, and we did Roseport stuff, and Roseport, you know, we had some placements and stuff on MTV and like CW and things like that.
Nice.
And then we wrote a song that was kind of darker and more cinematic. And we're like, this doesn't fit Roseport's brand. So we created JOAN because we're like, oh, we really like, well, we kept writing songs like that in the JOAN realm as well. And we're like, this feels like it fits better for what we're writing right now. They don't really work together in one project. So we created JOAN, the alter ego of Roseport, female empowerment, kind of badass, Wonder Woman meets Jessica Jones style, cinematic dark pop. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and then we focused on JOAN for a while, and now we're kind of circling back, and we're like, we need to release like all this stuff that we've sort of put in the treasure chest that we haven't released. So that's what this year is about. So
cool. Yeah. How did you guys come up with the names? Are there like meanings behind these names?
So that's a good question. I would say yes. Yes, there is. Roseport is kind of a combination of both our names in a way. And I mean, like, I'm Shani Rose and Chelsea means harbor in some language.
I was like, how does Port and Chelsea sound similar?
So we're like, Rose Harbor. We're like, that didn't work out. So we came to Roseport because it also kind of sounds like a wine, and it's kind of like classy, and it's like, and it's our indie, it's our colorful indie pop project, and we hadn't released a lot of stuff for a couple of years on that either, and we just released something in January called Hellos and Goodbyes. And so that one was fun. And JOAN, it took us like 30 seconds to come up with this name. We did like a little writing retreat on the East Coast, and we had written another one of these like JOAN songs, and we're like, this is not going to work for Roseport. We need another project. And we just sat there and we're like, what about JOAN? In all caps with a slash in the O, which I know is pronounced something else in like in Europe, in like the Netherlands, or I think it's somewhere in that area of the world. But the slash was more of like a strength.
Aesthetic. Okay.
Yeah, a strength aesthetically and visually, and it was also like, I don't know, Joan of Arc came to my head too, of like just like a strong woman, a female strength, an empowered female, and within like a minute, we're like, yeah, we're JOAN. That's perfect, and there it was. So
that's nice how that works out.
Yeah.
So some patron questions. Fong asks, how much of an impact does Twitch have on what you're doing now, and what would you do without it?
Ooh, it has a lot of, okay, so Twitch has a lot of impact on what I do now. I stream twice a week, and it's one of it's the only way I do live performances now. And it's also very helpful in paying some of my bills in terms of like supplementing my teaching and things like that. So but also it's made it more convenient for me to, like, I stay home a lot more now anyway with the baby, so it's like allowed me to continue to do my music and do like perform for people and widen my fan base and in people who are engaging with my music, which is really amazing and fulfilling. And also Twitch has been honestly like so much better than a random like gig at a restaurant or bar, because people are there because they want to be there. They like actively chose to click on your link and like show up, which is mind-blowing, because I'm like, oh, people want to be here? Like
I am still surprised as well.
They care.
Yeah.
They care about what you do, and that is like the most amazing feeling, because I think us artists, we do this as a creative outlet and an expression for ourselves, but there's also an element to it that like we feel we have this need or this duty to like share it with the world and share it with people. And like, my hope is that something that I write or something that I perform makes somebody's day better, or like gets them through something, or helps them relax, or helps them cry it out, whatever it is that they're going through. And Twitch has, like the platform and the people that have come into my stream have made me feel, it's been so rewarding and fulfilling to me, like made me feel like what I do matters to other people. And I've been able to share that with people and affect them in a positive way. And that's like one of the big reasons why I keep doing what I do. That's so much more rewarding than like driving an hour and a half to a gig and like playing covers for some people who are listening and really enjoying it. And and that's fun. And there's an element to that I, like, but then driving, like basically spending half a day doing this thing and then never knowing if the song that you played helped their day or like affected them, and that exchange and that sharing of the music and that feedback is really like precious, I think. Being an artist is a tricky thing, because it's like you need to pay your bills, and there's a business side of it. There's also an art side, and it's like I don't think I could do 100 gigs that were like well paid, but like no one cared, without doing things that like it mattered to people, and so Twitch has a platform where you can kind of work on both of those and try to build both of those up, and that's like really special, I think. And it's changed everything too, because I can be myself, man. Like, it's my show.
Yeah.
I have Bodhi on the show. Bodhi gets to sing songs.
Oh my gosh,
okay?
yes.
No, that's not Bodhi. That's Cleo. This is Bodhi.
Oh, wait, what?
This is Cleo. His fiance. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're planning a wedding.
I think I've only met Bodhi. Wow.
So
congratulations.
It's like, I'll relay the info. He's like he's traveling right now. He's not like, this is just his like in substitute in place.
Yeah.
No, but like I can be myself. I can do improv on my show. I can like put ski gloves on and play a song on piano. Like I can be silly and be myself, and people want to be there, and that makes it so much more like of a rich experience for me. Like it's so much fun. So that's what I would say. What would I do without it? I don't know. I mean, like I'd probably find other things to do. Like I wouldn't, like, what if Twitch like disappeared tomorrow? No, I would be sad. Like this is a really, I mean, I love being part of the community. I love the people that come and listen. Like, so yeah, it'd suck if that were the case.
Have you like live streamed on any other platform before?
I have. Oh, I tried out a couple.
Oh yeah.
In March 2020. I tried Instagram and Facebook Live and Periscope. I did.
RIP Periscope.
Yeah, I just found out recently it was no longer. I was like, oh. Yeah, I haven't found anything else that I know, and I know there's a lot of stuff out there. I haven't found anything else that like as fun and like sort of set up for the way it is, you know.
There's a lot of interaction on there.
The interaction is wonderful. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Daniel asks, what is one song that you never finished that still haunts you to this day?
That's a great question. I would say it doesn't haunt me in like that, like, oh, I feel horrible that I never finished it. But like I did write this song with two great writers that I know actually from these songwriting camps and like the conferences and stuff like that. And I really, really loved where we got to the song. Like it was really good. And we did like a verse and a chorus, and then
for a split
one
second,
of the writers,
for a split second, I was like, I thought the title was Where We Got.
That's a good title though. I mean, I don't know what that means yet, but sounds cool. Anyway, and then one of the writers went back to like England, and then we never finished it. And I think about it once in a while, and I'm like, that was a really good song. We should finish it. But I'm like, I don't know. It's been like 2 years now. Should we?
Just message them, hit them up.
Yeah, it's called Feel Something. Yeah. I'll ask her. I'll ask my friend.
That'd be cool if you finished it.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted, guys.
Yeah.
Keep you posted. So it's always like I should have finished it, as opposed to like it haunts me, you know?
Yeah.
It's a light haunt. It's like easygoing haunting. It's like,
it's a chill haunt.
Yeah, chill haunt. Basically.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And for coming on this podcast.
It was so much fun. Thank you for having me, Mirabelle. I hope that everyone tunes in to listen to all of your podcast episodes.
Thanks.
And I'm looking forward to like collaborating more and recording the song.
Definitely.
I was excited to like jump in and throw some ideas down, and hopefully we'll get something together.
Yeah, really for sure.
Yay.
Okay, cool.
Cool.